Good afternoon and welcome to the Serenity Solutions podcast number 24 on March 24th. If you can imagine, that must mean something. And it kind of ties into what I'm going to talk about today. So I've had a little bit of trouble thinking of what to talk about today, and I'm trying to just go with the flow. And earlier this week, it was about Wednesday, I was feeling like I'm on my March break right now, so I was feeling like I need to stop the hustling, stop the bustling, and slip into my feminine a little bit. And I have totally gone there since Wednesday, more so Thursday, and then it's hard to come back. It's really hard to come back to my masculine now because I'm like enjoying the feminine, which is a good thing because I am supposed to be on a holiday right now. So I want to talk about a little bit about that today, like slipping into the feminine when you have a lot of responsibilities. And I've noticed I do tend to be in my masculine quite a bit with my, to-do lists and my day-to-day work and working just a lot, like I mentioned in my last podcast. And so it can be difficult, and if you're listening and you have a hard time with that as well, I'm glad maybe this will help you today. But I really actually enjoyed slipping into the feminine. I went out a couple nights, listened to live country music, got to see some really good people and soothe my soul. Also got out of my really good sleep habits and stuff like that, which is unfortunate, but sometimes that has to happen in order to enjoy yourself a little bit more than you normally would, right? And I find even that, like, when I'm like, I analyze things and I think, I better stay, I want to be in my feminine, but then in a way, I'm getting into my masculine when I'm like, I gotta stay on my health routine. Like, I didn't drink alcohol. I just took some vitamin, like Energy Fizz and water, and stayed healthy, but the sleep has definitely been off when I stayed up late those couple nights. However, does anybody else ever have issues with, when you're trying to, relax, which is key, letting themselves actually relax? Because prior to this podcast starting, just a few minutes ago, I'm like, okay, I want to talk about slipping into the feminine and versus being in the masculine, which I find I am a lot of the time. But then when I did a quick check of, what that actually means, again, just to review, because I don't really prepare for these very much, I found I think I am in my feminine quite a bit, because the checklist or whatever was talking about being outside in nature, enjoying, I do that every single day on my hikes, and look around me, right now I'm doing this outside in the pouring rain, and that's the backdrop for today, because I found sometimes when I listen to these, the music can be a bit distracting, so I'm going to try it without the music today. Although I did like adding that interlude in. I was going to put some crows, because crows, birds have been a thing for me lately. But my point is, so I'll tell you about the owl story in a minute, but birds have been a big thing. But my point is that, it was talking about cooking, which, yeah, I don't, I do on a daily basis, but I don't really get into it and, dance around the kitchen and stuff like that. I'm not, that. But I do like to dance in the living room if my favorite song comes on, and I am a bit goofy and playful, for sure, with the pets. I do go out in nature. I am silly, sarcastic, those kind of things, and like to play on words, and a lot of the stuff about slipping into your feminine and not engaging in the hustle culture type stuff. I do a lot on a daily basis, but there's only parts of my day that I'm like that, and then the other parts of my day are very masculine, getting things done. I got to do this one more thing. I got to do this. I got to do that. And I'm a very organized list person, and I like to accomplish things. So if you're listening and you're like, oh yeah, I'm like that too, I can't. And then you start to analyze like, oh no, like, what am I doing? I'm going into my masculine really quickly. It's difficult when you do have a lot of responsibilities. Like, for example, doing my podcast. I'm like, I don't really feel like it. Didn't do it yesterday, but it is something that I've promised to do every week. And so I didn't do it yesterday because I'm too much into my feminine now, right? But then I said, no, I got to do it today, but I'm going to do it in a feminine way. So I think there is a fine balance, right? And when I was getting ready to come outside and have a hot tub and think about what I was going to do, and like, I'm going to do this in a way that I enjoy it. I'm going to have a hot tub, kind of relax my muscles, and I always like to grab some cards to implement into the podcast, and so I grabbed my Messenger Oracle cards because an owl literally dove into the front of my car on early Saturday when I was driving home from the live music, and I'm like, what the heck does this mean? Because there's been some weird signs happening lately, and like, I went into my feminine, I went out, I never do that anymore. And I'm like, is this a sign? Like, what the heck? Like, it dove into the front. It was probably hunting, right? For a rat or something on the road. But it made itself known, and I stopped, of course, because I needed to, and it flew up, and I tried to take a picture, but it was so dark out because it was the middle of the night. But it was such a cool experience, and like, these animals always make themselves known to me, like eagles every single day, hummingbirds all the time. They haven't been here, actually I haven't seen them today, but they often are around even in this rain. Like, the rain, we've had this torrential downpour the last few days, and well, more than a few days, and even that, like, gotta enjoy it somehow. You still gotta enjoy life. It's a bit of a downer, but literally, like, it like rains on you and your hair's like all down and everything's down. But like, if you can still have fun, like, I always need to go out in the rain with my dog and exercise, and so just have a bit of fun while you're doing it. That is like staying in your feminine. And feminine, like, men and women both have their feminine sides, right? And I think that it's nice to be able to go into your feminine as much as you can. But, like, comment if you find it hard sometimes to do that with all your responsibilities. So, getting back to the Messenger Oracle card, so the owl, what does that mean? I looked it up right away. I always do that as well. So maybe that is, I am in my feminine a lot of the time. But then that's kind of researching and, like, finding things out and learning and doing rather than just being. But it can be a death omen. It can be a good luck omen, depending what culture you're in. It can mean transformation, which was great. Like, life changes, transformation. That was the biggest thing I got out of it. But the fact that the percentage of, like, I hear the owls hooting all the time when I take the dog out at night. But the percentage of that owl, like, diving into my car when I was driving home that night was a little crazy. Anyways, so I am going to pull an oracle card today. I also grabbed my grief deck when I was trying to decide what to do this podcast on. So I feel like the collective needs some grief help. And then I also grabbed my Stress Less cards. So, just to finish up on the feminine thing, like dancing around, playing, being playful, cooking, just enjoying things, vulnerability, intuition. So all this stuff has been happening this week that even more intuitive than usual. Enjoyed myself more than usual. Nature even more than usual. All this stuff happened as soon as I decided to go into my feminine more, which is great. Amazing. Thank you. Now, should I get back into my masculine a little, might be a bit more productive, but they say that, you know, going into your feminine can be very productive because it's the creative side too, like letting yourself create, painting, art. I am not an artist. I'm not really into that. I don't like drawing or coloring or anything like that. I'd prefer to be in nature, to calm and yoga and movement, and it's hard for me to sit still, so that kind of thing's better than artistic things. But music, I love, like live music. That's nice, and then I create my own little songs for myself on the side. But anyways, just to, if you're feeling like you're in your masculine too much, or you're doing too much, and you're not like just enjoying and being, then I encourage you to give that a try and see what happens, because it worked for me this week. And so the next thing I'm going to do, it's 11 minutes in, so I'm going to do some grief cards. I'm going to do one of each from this Healing Grief deck, which is by David Kessler, and there's Healing Your Response to the Loss and Understanding Grief. And I'm going to take these randomly because I know that when I shuffle and take cards out, that they're for probably myself, but then the collective that actually listens to this podcast. So here we go. Understanding grief is the first one. Despite our best efforts, people still die. We may have tried to stop death, but we couldn't. I did enough. I did the best, knowing what I knew at the time. So that's kind of like an affirmation for people that might be going through like guilt or regret, maybe, things like that, which would probably be helpful for some people. With this one, it brings up my last dog more so than people, but I know the collective that's listening, it probably can bring up other things, because I did everything I could for her. My dad's death was very tragic and sudden, so it doesn't really fit with that one, but I guess, you know, when you have relatives that die suddenly or like kind of quick, and you don't get to see them or talk to them on the phone, that's also coming up for me a bit. Because definitely have had a lot of that happening in my life lately. So that's just a reminder also to, you know, appreciate the people we have in our lives, and always remember, you know, that it could be the last time you see them. Alright, so the next one is your response to the loss. Take time to grieve all that has been lost, the love, the laughter, all the ups and downs. As you move through the pain, the memories will be your cushion. So this one is so important, I believe, to, you know, think of all the good times. As you move through the pain, the memories will really help you, right? And that one's important for all cases. So important to cherish those memories. Take the pictures, do the memories, do the activities, have fun, appreciate them again, if you still have them around. Okay, healing, part 3. So that last one was a part 1 response, and then So was the understanding. So for healing, it's part 3. So this might be even more helpful for people that have been going through grief for a really long time. So remember your past, cherish your memories, don't live only there. You are still alive. Look around yourself today. See the new day. You are still making memories. There is more of life to come. Trust the process. So I think that one's a reminder to live your life, even if you've gone through a lot of grief, to appreciate what you have and enjoy life. There's more of life to come, and to trust the process of what's happening. Okay, hopefully those few cards were helpful. I am going to do a couple stress less cards, and then I'll pull the Messenger Oracle card, which will likely relate for me, but also be for the collective. Because I do that randomly as well. I don't plan ahead. So this is all in the moment stuff. I find like following my intuition and sharing that is more exciting, but also like more real and helpful maybe. Because if I plan it all out, I don't know. Anyways. Okay, I'm going to shuffle the stress less cards and pull what we might need today. I'm going to pull one from kind of the middle. Eat the rainbow by including as many colorful fruits and vegetables in your meals as possible. That's a good one. I've been increasing the veggies recently and already feel better. Trying to scale down on the carbs a bit more again after being sick, and just like remembering that we need to, like, I try and keep my pets as healthy as possible. I need to do that with myself as well. Add more meat in again. I was really turned off meat with my illness, this virus, but I'm going to try and focus on the meat and veggies again. Okay, second one. Scroll through photos of baby animals for an instant calm. Twist my arm. I love baby animals. They're so cute. We have a new baby orca around Vancouver Island. That's so exciting. Hopefully he or she does well. It's always cute to still see those little babies. And it's the springtime, so they're starting to come out. Okay, last but certainly not least, I'm going to pull from the Messenger Oracle deck. This is Ravian Felon's Oracle deck, and this is kind of like the numerology cards that I pull, but it's a guidebook for messengers. And because an owl like dove into my car Saturday morning, I want to see what the meaning is and if there's any other special meanings here. So I'm just going to shuffle the cards and like, what, excuse me, does that mean? What's happening in my life right now? What does the collective need? What was the meaning? What do I need to know? What do I need to know? Okay. So I'm going to pull from like closer to the end, but not quite the end here. And just so you know, that honking came up right when I was pulling this. Okay. Oh, this is so weird. Like I told you, this is all random. I just talked about feminine and masculine, and this card is number 11, which is a good number, a lucky number, but it says embrace the masculine. Uh-oh. Embrace the masculine. Okay, what does this mean? What did that owl come to tell me? Okay. Oh my God. This page is marked off already. That is weird too. I wonder if I've talked about it before. Okay, within ourselves. So this is the little guidebook that's going to tell us what this means. And this might be for whoever's listening as well. So embrace the masculine. Within ourselves, there are two aspects to our nature, the masculine and the feminine. Here in the present, you need to embrace the masculine aspect of your nature and let it guide your steps. Now is time to be assertive, to act with authority, and stand up for both yourself and your truth. Fight for what you believe in. Do not allow others to tell you that you must not or cannot. But remember, whilst you allow your masculine self to be dominant, you need to temper your assertiveness and determination with gentleness and compassion. That is interesting. I told you I was trying to dive into my feminine this week. Oh, the owl must have said, get into the masculine. Okay, I'm taking a message from this for myself, though, that now is the time to be assertive, to act with authority, and stand up for both yourself and your truths. Makes sense. I don't like anybody telling me what to do. And I quite enjoy being independent, and I do like to be in my masculine, but I also like to dive into the feminine. So hopefully this is helpful for others, and if you're listening, it's probably meant for you as well. And if you're listening, you likely are listening. But have a wonderful day. I just turned this thing to put it away, and I got another card that says love that you are different. So maybe I should read this one too, because it's a little bunny. And when we were on our walk today, it's like a bunny though with dragonfly wings and then mushrooms and flowers and like a rat tail with fire at the end. Anyways, I'm going to read this one too, because I'm only at minute 22, but it just basically popped out at me as I was putting this deck away. So there's another message I need to hear, and probably you guys too. Okay. Love that you are different. You have strengths and weaknesses, and both are worthy of love. Know them, honor them, and do not heed those who tell you that you must change in order to fulfill their expectation of you. You will never be who others expect you to be. You can only be the unique individual you are meant to be. Love that you are different, for it is your differences and loving those differences that make you truly beautiful. That totally resonates with me, because as I was out the other night, it's in a space that lots of people are drinking and having fun and being, a little wild and stuff like that, and I wasn't doing that, and I was fine with that, because as I've gotten older, I've got more confident, and I do embrace being different, and so that resonates with my feminine dip here, and just like how I appreciate being different. I don't want to be like all the other people. I like being different, so hopefully that resonates with you as well, and that was helpful for you today, whether it was the feminine to masculine comparison, the grief cards, the stress less cards, or the messenger oracle. I hope you all have an amazing night. Stay calm, serene, and enjoy the rest of your day. See ya.